Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. This is EKB TV, and you are watching the Vintage Cigar, and we're back with another top 10 list. And this is the first of two on the top 10. This is the top 10 underrated cigars. Of course, I always have to do a caveat when I do a list like this, because it's all subjective in the first place. But when it comes to a list like this, I want to specify something that is a little bit my opinion, but also a part of the zeitgeist as well. You always hear about the Davidoffs. You always hear about the Arturo Fuentes. You hear about the La Cremas and Norteños and certain cigars that always get mentioned. Sometimes there's some cigars that kind of fly under the radar that are very good cigars. They may get some notoriety, but not enough. So I want to highlight those. So let's start with the honorable mention. The honorable mention here is going to be the Cuesta Rey Centrofino. And this is a cigar that is by Fuente and by JC Newman. It is a kind of one of those unsung heroes of the cigars. If you have it, it's a very good cigar. Not quite good enough to make the list, but it's definitely good enough that you want to go check out that cigar. Now, let's get into the list. Number 10 is the SP 1014 Black. Why is this cigar making the list? I got to be specific with this one. This is not about the best cigar that is on the list, because this might be my favorite cigar that's on the list. But that does not mean it's not underrated. Now, we know this cigar is getting a lot of mention and a lot of attention. That's why it's number 10 on the list. But as far as this cigar, I think with the construction of this cigar, with the flavor profile for this cigar, and the attention that it's getting, it could be a lot more. This is a fantastic cigar, and it should be on the top of everybody's list right now, but it's not quite making that point. And part of the reason is I don't think everybody's getting their hands on the cigar because it is a small batch cigar. Nonetheless, it is delicious, it's well made, it's well priced, should be on the top of your list. It's ironic that it's not on the top of this list. Number 9. Number 9 is the Gran Habano number 5. This Corojo Honduran cigar has some nice spicy flavors, but it's extremely well balanced. And it's a cigar that people know, but for some reason is not mentioned as often as it should be, especially if you're going for an affordable cigar that packs a lot of a punch and a lot of flavor at the same time. This is an absolutely delicious cigar. It's one that I just tried on a whim one time, and it stayed in my mind. It stayed with me. Every now and then it comes up, but it doesn't come up quite enough. This is a great cigar that should be in your humidor, and it's one that you should not sleep on. Number 8 is the CAO Gold. This is an extremely affordable cigar from the CAO line, and it has a really cool name, but it doesn't get mentioned very much. It is a well-balanced cigar. It's not too strong, it's not too weak. It gives you a lot of flavors, and it will sneak up on you as far as the deliciousness of the cigar. It is a great, well-balanced cigar, and it's one that you can have just about any time of the day. And if you go out and get it, it's not going to hurt your pockets. Keep your eye out for this cigar. It's one of those cigars that is from a bigger brand, but it's definitely a great addition to any humidor that you have. You want to add it in there. It could be a nice daily smoke, and it could just be a nice one just if you want to kick around and have a great cigar. CAO Gold. Number 7 is the Aladino Cameroon. Aladino is a brand that doesn't get mentioned as enough as it should, but with this very affordable Cameroon, it is definitely one that will sneak up on you and give you some delicious flavors. Now, some may love it, some may not, but it gets a lot of high remarks, but it doesn't always get mentioned. And one thing about this, it gives you some fruity flavors. To me, it tastes like a crisp apple that I love, but you also get the Cameroon aspects in there. You get a little bit of a spice when it's necessary. This is a unique tasting cigar. It is a great addition to always have. Aladino Cameroon. Try it out. It's underrated. Number 6 is the Buffalo 10 Connecticut. I love this cigar. You see, with the new wave guys, we talk about this cigar quite a bit, but I feel like this is something that happens within our circle. Not everybody has jumped on the train yet. If you want to get a bundle cigar that tastes like a premium cigar and smokes like a premium cigar, this cigar is it. It tastes great. It smokes great, great body. It's really just a good cigar that is so underrated. We're trying to change that. I'm definitely trying to change that. Number 5 is the ATL Good Trouble. All around to me, part of the reason why this is number 5 on the list, right in the halfway point, is because I think the ATL brand is just underrated in general. But the Good Trouble, specifically as a cigar, is extremely underrated. Once again, we got a balanced, flavorful cigar that kind of fits right in that sweet spot as far as the strength and the body of the cigar goes. Excellent flavors, creamy. It hits all the right notes. And for whatever reason, it's not enough people smoking or talking about this cigar. Those who know, you know. If you don't, you're missing out. Number 4 is the Espinoza Habano. This is a great Habano cigar. It's like the definition of a Habano. And the core line for Espinoza has some very flavorful cigars, but for whatever reason, the Habano doesn't get mentioned. If you want a spicy cigar that gives you a lot of the notes that you would expect from a Habano at an affordable price, that burns really well and just holds up really well, this is that cigar. And for whatever reason, it gets missed on everybody's list and everybody's photos. Go out and try this Habano. If you want a cigar that's going to kind of fit exactly where it needs to in the mold, but you don't have to break the bank for it, this is it. Eric Espinoza did his thing with this cigar. Number 3 is the Perdomo 10th Anniversary Maduro. Now, I know this cigar has been mentioned before, but I always feel like the Perdomo name just kind of gets a lot of dirt kicked on it. And if you want a cigar that has great construction, that smokes really well, burns really well, also tastes great, gives you rich, dark notes, creamy notes, this cigar is it. This cigar actually holds up to just about any test that you want to give it. Flavor, construction, you name it, it's there. I don't know why this doesn't get enough attention. It doesn't really make sense to me. But sometimes these are the breaks. That's why it's so high on the list. Number 2 is the JDN Antonio Grand Reserve. Once again, well-balanced cigar, excellent construction, excellent burn, great flavors, hits everything on the palate. This is a great cigar. People mention it, but not enough. I think this cigar can stand up to a lot of cigars that are out there, and it's not going to break the bank. It can easily be number 1 on the list. Let's find out what number 1 is. Number 1 is going to be the Punch Gran Puro. And I mention this cigar because it comes from one of the bigger companies, one of the conglomerates. And oftentimes these cigars can kind of get lost in the shuffle. This cigar and this company recently has been making some great flavorful cigars at a great price. I dig the price of this cigar. I dig the way it smokes. And each time I have it, I'm kind of blown away by how good this cigar is. It can definitely be a daily driver, but it can definitely be a cigar that you can have that hangs with some of the premium cigars that are out there. Super underrated and surprising. Go out and try this cigar. Let me know what you think. Do you guys have any cigars that are under the umbrella of the more budget or price friendly brands that are underrated? Let me know. Put it down in the comments. We'll talk about it. Let's see what you come up with. This has been my top 10 list. Always glad to hear yours. Anyway, this has been EKB TV, the Vintage Cigar. You guys keep smoking. We got more reviews right here. You guys stay tuned. Keep watching.